It's time for this week's episode of Brandon Sports Talk, featuring in-depth interviews from those who are trending in the world of athletics. And now, here's the host of Brandon Sports Talk, Brandon Pate.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I have the privilege to interview the Florida A&M assistant baseball / pitching coach, Coach Bryan Henry. How are you doing today?
Doing well. Thank you for having me.
Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to start college coaching?
Well, I was lucky enough to play college baseball and then get a chance to play 7 years professionally with the Diamondbacks. So, I kind of knew baseball is what I wanted to do, and I didn't know how I would stay involved in the game. And then kind of once I got released, everything started unfolding, and I had an opportunity to start my coaching career at Florida State, and the rest is history.
What was it like getting your first job at Florida State as the volunteer?
I'm very fortunate. I mean, the way that the timing all worked out, I know as a volunteer, that's one of the most sought after positions at the time. Mike Martin was still there, and he's a legendary coach, and people want to learn from him. And it just happened to work out. The guy that was there before me was moving out of town, and the position opened up. And I was actually still playing independent ball at the time when Mike Martin called and asked me. He's like, "Hey, you're playing independent ball. You got a wife and kid. Why don't you come back home and start coaching?" So I took him up on his offer.
What was your college experience like playing at Florida State?
I loved it. Loved every minute. I'm from Tallahassee. I grew up here. My dad is actually a sports writer, so I grew up on campus and knew all the coaches. I mean, it was a dream. I wanted to go to Florida State from when I was 8 years old. So it was my dream school, and to get the opportunity to play there and to be successful there was, I was literally living out a dream.
What was it like, obviously, putting on that Florida State baseball jersey after, obviously, you said that was your dream to go there?
I mean, that's it. It made me never take it for granted. Every time I put the jersey on and had an opportunity to go out and perform, I, tried to make the most of it, and I just felt lucky to have the chance, and just definitely kind of gives you that extra little pep in your step.
What were some of your college baseball experience and accomplishments at Florida State?
I had the opportunity to play both third base and pitch at FSU. A lot more successful on the mound. I was able to I was the first team all ACC for all 3 of my years at FSU. And in 2007, my senior year, I won the ACC Pitcher of the Year. So I had a good run while I was there.
Of course, what was it like coming out of college, being selected from Pittsburgh Pirates, but being drafted by the Arizona Diamondbacks?
So yeah, I got drafted by the Pirates out of high school. That was back when draft and follows were still a thing. The Pittsburgh Pirates selected me in the 47th round as a draft and follow. So I went to junior college for a year because of that, just to see how that panned out. And after my first year at junior college, they were going to draft me again, but not sign me. So I went to Florida State, where I knew I'd have to spend at least 2 years there. And then I ended up spending 3 years at Florida State. And after my senior year, the Diamondbacks selected me, and I got the opportunity to play for them.
What was that feeling like of obviously being selected from both teams and obviously finally getting drafted to the Diamondbacks?
It was a complete surprise to get drafted by the Pirates. I had no idea that was even a possibility. I was kind of a late bloomer, I guess. My senior year of high school, I was 6'3" and 175, and just skin and bones. And I had a really good year. I was the Florida State Player of the Year, and my junior college coach actually called me and said, "Hey, call me after you get drafted." And I was like, "What?" And he said, "Oh yeah, you're going to go today at some point." And I was just, that was the first I ever heard of it. And then I got a call from Rob Sidwell at the Pirates, and he told me, and I was pumped, and it's something I didn't expect. And then at Florida State, at a high profile university like that, and kind of putting up the numbers that I did, and having an advisor and the teams reaching out, it wasn't much of a surprise. It was just a matter of who and when. It's still a blessing either way to have that opportunity to get drafted and play pro ball.
Of course, during your time during college, whenever you did have that advisor, did you think that the Pittsburgh Pirates were going to call you back again, or did you know that you probably weren't going to sign with the Pittsburgh Pirates? It would be a new team.
Yeah, at that point, you had no idea. You had teams that talk to you more than others, via the scouts that are there, and letters that they would send. And I mean, the Pirates were still a team showing interest, but at that point, I mean, you really have no clue, and how it's a lot of it too is how the draft shakes out and who's selected, and all that stuff. So it was just a matter of holding your breath and seeing when and where.
What was it like getting to put on the Arizona Diamondbacks jersey?
And as a kid, same thing. You dream about playing college baseball, and then hopefully having the opportunity to play pro ball. And for me, I always felt like the underdog story type thing, where I was back always against the wall, proving people wrong. And so every time I got to put on a jersey, I tried to make the most of it, and work really hard and never take anything for granted. So my first spring training, when you got to put on that Diamondbacks jersey, it was another dream come true.
What was it like for you to, obviously, once your professional career ended playing baseball, getting into college coaching?
Luckily, like I said before, all the chips just kind of fell into place. I got released from the Diamondbacks in the summer of 2013. And I was playing independent ball when Mike Martin called me and said, the job was open. If I wanted it, he'd love to have me. And so for me, it was an opportunity to go back to my hometown, to Tallahassee, where I lived in the off season, where I grew up, and start coaching there. So that was a no-brainer. And then after 1 year there, Coach Shoup, who was my pitching coach at Florida State, he got the head coaching job at FAMU that year in 2013-14. So after the season in the 2014, he called and offered me a paid position here. So another opportunity to keep coaching and stay in my hometown of Tallahassee. And it was a no-brainer, and another just opportunity to continue growth in baseball.
What was it like to get the opportunity to be the assistant coach for the U.S. baseball national team?
That was a lot of fun. It's always an honor to get to wear USA across your chest. I was lucky enough in 2010, I got selected to play on the professional USA team that we went down to Puerto Rico and competed in the Pan Am qualifier. So I had experience wearing the red, white, and blue, and Coach Shoup actually has done some stuff with Team USA as well. So they, I don't know how it came about, but they called and asked if I wanted to help with the developmental program that they were starting up. And I got to go spend a week up there with some of the best 14-year-olds in the country, and just do what I could to help.
What was it like in 2015 when you joined the Florida A&M team on the coaching staff?
Like I said, it was just an awesome opportunity to get to stay in Tallahassee, to continue coaching and kind of use what I learned from my year at Florida State under Mike Martin was the head coach. Mike Bell was the pitching coach, and he kind of took me under his wing, and I learned a lot from him. And so it was an opportunity for me at FAMU to kind of manage my own pitching staff and, use what I've learned in pro ball and with Mike, and even from Coach Shoup when he was my pitching coach at Florida State. So I was just pumped to be in a position where now I could start, recruiting and coaching and all while staying in Tallahassee.
Of course, what was it like taking over the pitching coaching And what is it like mentoring those pitchers to obviously make it to the big leagues?
It's fun. You try not to take a day for granted. And I tell them when they get here, man, I'm throwing my whole baseball career. I've played high school, college at Florida State, 7 years of pro ball. I'm still learning every day here. So, I've got probably 20 years of playing baseball. Everything I've learned in 20 years, I'm going to throw at you in your 4 years here. So, be a sponge, soak it all in. Anything I can do, I'm just trying to help, and I want you guys to reach the highest potential you can. And it's, so I just throw it all at them, and then we go for what works. We go with it, and what doesn't, we flush. So it's everybody's different, and everybody kind of responds differently. So it's a lot of fun just to get to know each player on a personal level.
What's it like, obviously, with you talking about, obviously, your 13 years in baseball and playing professionally? What is that like, obviously, taking your professional experience to help these young athletes to obviously one day become professional athletes like you did?
Right. That's their goal. They're trying to get where you were. So, I mean, you have that credibility, that instant credibility with the guys, and you can just talk about experiences in pro ball, what the minor leagues are like, what to expect, what you might need to do to have that opportunity. So they're very open in terms of listening and learning when you've been to what they're trying to do.
What is a typical game day like for you with the baseball team?
So for us at FAM, it's a little different than what you might see on the SEC network and the bigger schools. We do everything ourselves. We're like the grounds crew. We're the clubhouse managers. I mean, we do it all. We wear a bunch of hats here. Typical game day, we'll get to the field, set it up for BP, drag it, get it ready, get the field looking nice. And then we do all the breaking down of BP, putting everything away, getting the field ready for in and out. And then after the game, we take the clothes, and luckily we have some great equipment managers that we don't have to wash the clothes, but they do that for us. But we definitely wear a lot of hats, and the game days are pretty busy.
Who are some teams that you play in your conference?
So we actually just switched from the MEAC. We've been in the MEAC since I've been here, and now this year's our first year in the SWAC. So we're excited to make that move. And in our division, we'll have Jackson State, Alabama State, Bethune-Cookman, Alabama A&M, and Mississippi Valley State are the guys in our conference, or in our side of our conference. And then the other side, you got Southern and Grambling and Alcorn and Texas Prairie View. I mean, it's a big, awesome conference. We're excited for the move.
Of course, what was that like, obviously, switching conferences and getting to play with new teams in this year?
We're looking forward to it. We haven't done it yet, so we don't know for sure, but we're familiar with the SWAC. We always play Jackson State every year. We play Alabama State every year. We go to the Andre Dawson Classic. This will be our second year doing that, where it's all SWAC teams. So we're very familiar with the SWAC and the style of play. It's going to be very competitive and a lot of fun.
Can you talk about, of course, the culture that you have helped build for the baseball program?
Coach Shoup has done an amazing job here. When he took over in the spring of 14, his first season here, they won. In the spring of 13, they won 7 games. And then his first year, the spring of 14, they won over 20 games. It was like the biggest turnaround in the NCAA that season. It was an instant culture change, and it was more just preparing. We try to tell our guys that if we want to be the best practicing team we can be, if we practice well, we'll play well. So he came in right away and just changed the way that we practice. And I mean, we try to get after it just so they're prepared.
What is the recruitment process like for prospective student athletes looking to play college baseball?
So for us, we don't have a very, very big recruiting budget, so we're not out on the road scouring. Coach Shoup, like I said, he's been in the game forever. He coached at Florida State for over 20 years, and now he's been here for 9. And he's built so many relationships with junior college coaches and scouts and high school coaches. And so we do a lot of recruiting by kind of just word of mouth and trusting his guys, and they'll tell us about a kid and we'll go see him. And, we'll get them up on campus and let them look around, and hopefully it's a mutual fit. So we're not out on the road as much as some of the other schools, but we're definitely out there. We're still looking for the best players, that's for sure.
What does the official visit look like for prospective student athletes?
And that's we get back into the budget issues. We don't do official visits here. We do, all of our visits are all unofficial. And with us being in Florida and Florida being such a hotbed for baseball players, most of the players aren't, they're 4 hours, 5 hours at the most away. So it's an easy trip to drive up, see the campus. So when they do get here, we bring them in the baseball offices, talk to them, show them around the athletic facility that we have here, the academic area with our advisors and the study halls. And then we take them down to the clubhouse and the weight room and introduce them to everybody. And then we'll go to the field and end with a little campus tour and take them to lunch and let them just see everything that we have to offer.
What are some of your future plans as you begin this new conference, playing in this new conference?
Just to keep doing what we've been doing. What we've kind of put together here the last 7-8 years is, we got the ball rolling a little bit and we want to keep it rolling. So we're just out there trying to get the best players we can get and get them to play to their best of their ability and make sure they're prepared to compete, and the rest will kind of take care of itself.
What advice would you give prospective student athletes looking to play college baseball?
Just to don't take no for an answer and keep looking. And, there's so many places to play, so many opportunities out there. Everybody, of course, wants to go to Florida State, to Florida, to Arkansas, to, these big powerhouses, but not everybody can go there. So, one thing that especially having the experience, I played a year at junior college. There are a lot of people that kind of turn their nose up at junior college baseball, but that's a great opportunity to develop and get better. And, and it also gives yourself another year or two for Arkansas or one of those big schools to really take notice of you. It was out of high school, Florida, for me, Florida State, I was on their radar, but I wasn't a scholarship guy. And then I went to junior college, and after I continued to grow and develop, it was like, oh man, he's a scholarship guy. So I ended up going to Florida State. So, there's opportunity out there, and it's just a matter of working hard and finding it.
What advice would you give professional athletes that are looking to transition like you did from going to play professionally to getting into college coaching?
The same thing, it's, you got to use your networking. Like luckily in pro ball, you run across a lot of people, and there's a lot of people willing to help out and throw their name out there for you. So it's just a matter of networking and finding the right fit and spot that is open. And then once you get there, it's basically like being in pro ball all over again. You're at the bottom as a volunteer, and you're trying to work your way up and get into a paid position.
What advice would you give future college baseball coaches looking to get into the industry?
Kind of the same as the what we talked about with the pro guy. It's all about networking and knowing and kind of having somebody on the inside to help you out and know what spots might be opening up. And it's a lot of it is just kind of getting your foot in the door. And if you can get your foot in the door, then about working hard and grinding and just trying your best to move up.
Where can my listeners find you at on social media, along with the Florida A&M baseball program app?
We have all the Twitter and Instagram stuff. FAMU Athletics, I think, is all of our handles for that. And then my personal one is Bryan Henry, maybe. I don't even know. It's on my phone. I created it so long ago. I don't even know what my handle is, but I'm on there.
Thank you again, Coach Bryan Henry, for your interview, and best of luck in your future with the Florida A&M as the assistant baseball coach / pitching coach.
Thanks, Brandon. Appreciate you having me, man.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Facebook at Brandon Sports Talk, Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Coach Bryan Henry, for your interview, and best of luck in your future.
Appreciate it.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.